August 2nd, 2022. Podcast 332, episode 332. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Ahmaud Arbery pursuer seeks leniency in hate crime sentence. When the justice system actually comes through, when the justice system works, we get to see in real time people feeling the weight of the consequences for their actions. Don't drop the soap, buddy. The white man who initiated the neighborhood chase that resulted in the fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery is asking a federal judge to show leniency when he's sentenced next week for a federal hate crime conviction. There was no fairness. There was no reprieve. There was no leniency when this man was cornered, assaulted, and murdered for no other reason than the color of his skin. While Greg McMichael deserves a substantial period of incarceration, his defense attorney said in a legal filing he should be spared a life sentence, though he has already been sentenced to life without parole on a separate murder conviction. McMichael also wants the judge to transfer him to a federal prison so that he avoids serving time for Arbery's murder in Georgia state's prison system, which can't ensure his safety from attacks by other inmates. There was no fear or foresight for the repercussions that this man has the gall to ask for when him and his buddies took this man's life. McMichael, 66, is scheduled to be sentenced Monday in U.S. District Court, along with his adult son, Travis McMichael, and their neighbor, William Roddy Bryan. A jury convicted all three in February of committing hate crimes, concluding 25-year-old Arbery had been targeted because he was black. The McMichaels armed themselves with guns and jumped in a pickup truck to chase Arbery after they spotted him running in their neighborhood outside the port city of Brunswick on February 23rd, 2020. It just gives me the whole vibe that they all thought it would be fun to hunt this young man down, to chase this young man down like an animal. Bryan joined the pursuit in his own truck and recorded cell phone video of Travis McMichael blasting Arbery with a shotgun. Oh, there they are. Take a look at the finest specimens that inbreeding has to offer. The McMichaels said they suspect that Arbery was a burglar, though investigators determined he was unarmed and had committed no crimes when he was killed. Still, no one was charged until more than 2 months later, when the graphic video of the shooting leaked online and sparked a national outcry. The McMichaels and Bryan each faced the possibility of an additional life sentence when U.S. District Court Judge Lisa Gabe Wood decides their punishment. They have appealed their November convictions and life sentences for Arbery's murder in state court, hoping to get them overturned. Can you imagine an attorney trying to Fisher Price explain to these people that, do you know what video evidence is? And not just video evidence from one of the perpetrators. Greg McMichael's defense attorney, AJ Balbo, in his legal filing Monday, didn't downplay the seriousness of the federal hate crime case. It involves the gruesome and altogether avoidable death of a young man whose last moments are preserved forever. And haunting video, Balbo wrote, it showcased repugnant text messages and postings that displayed a racist bent that, even after decades of societal progress, still clings to some. In other words, can you at least have it look like I made you consider it a little bit so I look good in front of my colleagues at the practice? Still, Balbo asked the judge to show some leniency in sentencing Greg McMichael to 20 years in prison. Last time I do pro bono work, arguing that his punishment shouldn't exceed what former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin received in a different federal court for the killing of George Floyd. Chauvin got a 21-year sentence last month after pleading guilty to violating Floyd's civil rights. And this is what happens. You set a precedent for people to go easy on these type of crimes. The defense lawyer also asked the judge to order Greg McMichael into the custody of the Federal Bureau of Prisons to ensure his physical safety. He noted the Justice Department launched an investigation last year into Georgia state prisons with an emphasis on violence between inmates. Oh, I have a surefire way to avoid violence from Georgia prison inmates. Don't murder people in cold blood. Pay me on your way out. He should not be sent to a state prison system whose very operation may enable inmates to engage in dangerous and even deadly activity. Balboa wrote, Arbery's family has insisted the McMichaels and Brian should serve their sentences in a state prison, arguing a federal penitentiary wouldn't be as tough. Exactly. His parents objected forcefully before the federal trial when both McMichaels sought a plea deal that would have included a request to transfer them to federal prison. The judge ended up rejecting the plea agreement. To even fix your mouth to ask for any sort of reprieve is a slap in the face to the name of the victim and the victim's family. Granting these men their preferred choice of confinement would defeat me exactly, Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, told the judge at a hearing January 31st. It gives them one last chance to spit in my face. Absolutely. Attorneys for Arbery's parents did not immediately return phone and email messages seeking comment Tuesday. Defense attorneys for Travis McMichael and Brian had not filed sentencing requests with the court as of Tuesday afternoon. In arguing for leniency for Greg McMichael, Balbo noted his client served 3 decades in law enforcement and never received any complaints in his personnel file for racism, harassment, or police brutality. There's nothing in his file. It doesn't mean that he didn't do anything. He also said his client struggles with the litany of health problems. He suffered a stroke several years ago, has heart disease, and takes medication for depression and anxiety. He sure seemed as spry as a spring chicken when all this was taking place. The legal filing included a letter from Greg McMichael's wife, Lee, offering Arbery's family my deepest sympathies. In the letter, she implores the judge, please have mercy on Greg. His intention in this tragedy was not to hurt anyone. Bullshit. Next up, man accidentally kills himself after bullet he fired at a woman bounced back and hit him. Are there really any accidents in this crazy universe? A man has bled to death after he accidentally shot himself when a bullet rebounded. Brian Redmond, 26, shot a woman in the neck, but after passing through her body, the bullet rebounded and hit him in the leg. A huge amount of blood was found outside an apartment building in Dallas, Texas at around 11:39 a.m. on Saturday morning. They couldn't find anyone near the scene despite the quantity of blood that was there. But then a second call came in when a man and woman were found in a car at a nearby hospital with gunshot wounds. The woman was treated at the scene and was well enough to go home later that day, walking wounded. And investigation is underway to work out exactly what happened and if Redmond and the woman he shot knew one another. Just a sliding scale going from ouch, I messed up to maybe I shouldn't have did that to yeah, I definitely shouldn't have did that. I didn't think this all the way through. Next up, woman with demonic look arrested for fatal stabbing during sex. I actually caught a story similar to this a while ago where a man and a woman were smoking meth and they began to have sex and she stabbed him and she said it felt good. So she just kept stabbing him and she actually ended up dismembering him. A Tennessee woman has been charged with stabbing a man to death during sexual intercourse at a motel on Saturday. I'm almost positive in both of these cases, right up until the moment of the stabbing, that man was having the best sex of his life. The type you don't take home to mother. Christina Nicole Walker, 32, is suspected of fatally stabbing a 44-year-old man inside a room at the Hometown Studios Motel in Nashville, Tennessee, according to a release from the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department. A 44-year-old man not having sex in his own home is somewhere he shouldn't be, with someone he shouldn't be with, doing something he probably shouldn't have been doing. Police issued a criminal homicide warrant for Walker on Saturday morning before locating her at an apartment that night. Police officers dispatched to the motel room found the man lying on his back next to a bed, according to an affidavit obtained by Newsweek. He had been stabbed multiple times and was pronounced dead at the scene. A witness told officers that Walker had been staying at the motel for a short time. The victim had arrived on Friday to hang out and possibly solicit sex from Walker and the witness. The witness declined to participate, but Walker allegedly agreed. During a sexual act, the defendant got enraged. Oh, she's really into it. She must really dig me. Grabbed a knife and attacked the victim, killing him, said the affidavit. The witness attempted to stop Walker, but fled after the suspected killer allegedly attempted to cut her. A second witness told police that he knew Walker and went to check on her after the first witness told him what happened. It sounds like they just all hang out around that motel and look for Johns. He said to officers that he observed the defendant covered in blood with a demonic look, which just a few moments ago passed for bedroom eyes on her face. Walker then attempted to get in the vehicle of a third witness who found out what she had done and asked her to leave the car, which she did. All three witnesses independently identified Walker as the suspect. About 1 in 5 women and 1 in 7 men nationwide report having experienced severe physical violence from an intimate partner, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. U.S. crime data also suggests that 1 in 5 homicide victims are killed by an intimate partner, with half of female victims killed by a current or former male intimate partner. Fun show, fun show, fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.